Hallelujah. Hallelujah. We're going, since we was talking, what we were talking about today, before we started, so we're going to go with that lesson. It's pretty much, with the name of this lesson, it goes along with what we was talking about, and it's dealing with the family circle, and the condition, why we in and stuff that we go through. So that's what we're going to go through today, talking about the family circle. So, you need scripture? All right. Talking about the family circle. So in the family circle, we see the condition we were talking about earlier and stuff, why we the way that we are, from the man to the woman to the children and stuff. And it's all dealing with, come down to disobedience. And the first disobedience that man have, that's against the Most High. And if we disobedient to him, we already know what's going to trickle down and stuff. Punishment and everything. So that disobedience caused a reflect on all of us, on the man, because he was the head, he was the one he put in charge and stuff. Then it's going to reflect to the woman and stuff if she ain't doing her part. Then after that, it's going to reflect down to the children and stuff. So we see it's a head, it's an order of things and stuff. And when things get out of order, we're gonna have chaos. And so here today's lesson, we'll see what goes on with a family and within the family circle. And that's the thing about the scriptures. It teaches us how to be a family. But in being a family, you still got to have rules and regulations. You got to have a certain order of a hierarchy and stuff. And then when nobody's obeying the hierarchy, then we're going to have issues. We're going to have problems and stuff. And this is what we're going to see, how these problems are going to come in. And then we can see how we can correct these problems, these issues. So we know the first problem is being disobedient to the Most High, Yahuwah. So for the introduction, he says, the family unit, degeneration, or I can put it, I just say the family unit is doubtless one of the greatest tragedies of modern time. A spiritual catastrophe so devastating that it is causing concern to almost all governments of the world. Now, the funny thing about it says causing concern for the government, in other words, because we know as a family unit represents everything, including governments, because a government is considered what? A family. Even on your job, you are a family, because when you think about it, you're spending most of your time and day, at work. So that's another family. So you hear this, you got all these different types of family, from your job, from the people you be around, from your regular family, with husband, wife, and children and stuff, and you got your social family and stuff. And so now, all these families, if they're not following a certain order, they're all going to be out of order, including the government and all that, which we can see today and stuff. So it says, this interest in irresponsible parents, because everything gonna start with the head. So we're talking about irresponsible parents and rebellious children. So let's start. We got irresponsible parents and rebellious children. So when you look at this, something is beginning. It's a formula that's beginning to happen. Because guess what? That family of those irresponsible irresponsible parents and those rebellious children, what's going to happen with them? They're going out into society. They're going out into society. So it's like their attitude, their ways is like a cold, and somebody else going to catch it. And it's going to rub off on somebody. It goes right back to, when they say bad company corrupts good manner and stuff. Especially when you overwhelmed with you the one who had the good manners, but you around 10 to 20 more people that got, got bad manners and stuff. it's going to corrupt you if you stay around them long enough. So now we have the irresponsible parents. We have the rebellious children. Then let's move on. We got battered wives and babies, adultery, incest, fornication, drug abuse, alcoholism, and a total lack of communication are evils which are commonplace these days in homes throughout the world. And it becomes a routine when we don't address these issues. And with the last thing we said, communication. Communication. And that's a key thing and stuff. And when we don't communicate like we should, it's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a problem. And that's what the scripture teaches us, that communication is key. The Most High wants us to talk to him, because it always says what in his word? That we are his children. See, and I think that we kind of forget that, because we become grown, but we never grown to him. We're grown to the children, but not to him. And that's why he said what? Unless you come as a little child. So that's the key thing. We got to remember how to come as a child. Remember how we used to come to our parents when we were little? That's the same way Yahuwah wants us to come to him. And that same mindset, coming to him as that child. And why? Because the child needs something. The child needs help. He needs guidance. He needs that insurance and stuff. He needs that protection stuff. And that's where we fall out of line. We forget, and we think, we big and bad enough to do it ourselves. Oh, I don't need nobody help. I could do this on my own. And that's a problem. Because if he wanted you to do it on your own, I think you would have been the only person in the world. But yet he put us around people. He even said what? He saw that it wasn't fit for man to be alone. So he wanted us to be here, to be helping one another, and so in other words, he wanted us to depend on him, but at the same time, he wanted us to depend on each other. That's why he put us here where we at, where we can depend on each other. So in other words, that even though he's there for us, he still want to see us to, operate out of that function that he created us to be able to, to help one another, to be able to go to one another, to be our brother's keeper. And that's what it's all about, being your brother's keeper. But these conditions is what's destroying. And the thing is, it says, even more distressing is the fact that most of these problems are escalating out of control, despite the valiant effort being made to contain them. And why is these things? That's the thing. Where did the problem start? Where did it begin? See, once we can figure out where it began, we can put a hold to it if we desire to. So how did it all start? A lot of people don't know, because it all depends on the type of lifestyle that they grew up under, or how they was raised and taught. But overall, how did it all start?
With disobedience.
From who?
Man.
No, I'm talking about, but from who?
Man.
What man?
First man.
There you go. Right there. Because what happened? That right there tainted the blood. See, that's what people don't realize. Everything is in the blood and stuff. That's why I said when we were talking earlier, before y'all came, we was talking about how we can do things without being taught that our ancestors did, because it's in our DNA, it's in our blood and stuff. So was that sin when they committed that trespass, that disobedience, it was in the blood. And what he did, he had to get them out of there quick before they ate of the tree of life, for they want to live long and, pass, forever and stuff. So when you look at that right there, that tainted blood passed on from where? From them to their children. Because what happened with Cain and Abel? They couldn't blame it on video games, couldn't blame it on TV. So that means people was already doing this way before, they like to blame stuff on video and TV. Yeah. So they was already committing the act already before video games and TVs came out. But because of sin that was already in the parents' blood, going trickled on down to them.
And that's why he said born into sin
and shaped into iniquity. Right. See, because when they was created, they wasn't created in sin, and they wasn't created in iniquity either and stuff. But because of that corruption. The corruption of what? Disobedience. Go ahead.
But Adam hadn't modeled that behavior. So for Cain to be shaped in iniquity.
He
He
did.
He did what his wife asked
He
him
was
to do.
disobedient. He ate of the fruit.
But
That tainted him.
from murder.
Regardless,
It
it brought sin in.
Brought sin
When-
in.
when-
Open the door.
remember,
Yeah.
when he was created, he didn't know nothing about evil. He didn't know nothing about bad. But when they
Their
ate
eyes
of
were
that,
not open.
yeah. So when they did that, their eyes was open.
Then they knew they was
knowledge.
naked. Yeah, they knew they was naked.
They knew.
Right.
They knew everything. What he said, they had become like us.
Right.
So they knew good and evil. Before they didn't know both. It was on. There was only one way.
And then also lying when the father asked Cain, "Where's your brother?" He said, "I don't know."
But sin had already took effect then.
That
But
was
we
nothing.
saying, but the beginning came from the parents.
Right, exactly.
See, so that's what all this. It starts from somewhere. It starts from the head. Because in other words, we have a responsibility, and that responsibility that is given to us from the Most High is going to show everything. It's going to tell everything. It's going to, it's going to be some pros and cons of what how we act it out and stuff. And so we have to be very careful. We have a big responsibility and stuff. And people don't realize, we thinking, oh, whatever the job got you to do is a big, no, the job that Yahuwah got us to do, that's a big responsibility. And we see what happened with Adam and Kuhl, how they messed that responsibility up. And because of that act, the world is in the chaos that they in today. Well, matter of fact, it was a way that the world could have got back together. When it came to, when the 12 tribes came about, he gave them his word. He gave them the commandments. He gave them the oracles. He gave them all the things they needed to live life. The book of instruction. That's what it is. It's the book of instruction. He gave them what to do and stuff. And what they did. If they would have did right, because the word said, and my ministers would have stood in my counsel, the people would not have error. So if you ain't being taught right, guess what? Everybody else ain't going to be taught right, because there's some stuff going out that's just not right. So by us being that nation, he said we was what? Called to be a royal priestly nation. So it was our duty to go out to the rest of the nation to teach them how to live righteous, how to, follow these rules and regulations. But as a nation, we disobeyed, we fell out. So now the world is in a chaos, because we being that royal priestly nation, showing people, because we got, he gave us the instruction. So we supposed to be that example before them. So without that example, the world is wild. They like children just going to do whatever, they think that's right in their own mind and stuff. And so that's that example that if you the people and we supposed to be doing this and living a certain way, but we're not. It's just like what you always hear people say, oh, my pastor said, and he do this, he do that. So in other words, whatever that pastor do, but they know that pastor got a hierarchy that's telling that pastor that he's supposed to do a certain thing. But if the pastor not doing that certain thing, and the people that's following him and listening to him because they respect him because he's supposed to be following the Most High, what's going to happen? They're going to say, oh, I guess it's all right. The pastor doing it since he's the man of the Most High, so I guess it's all right to do what he's doing then. And next thing you know, you got a whole mess. Everybody doing it wrong. That's why the scripture said, if my ministers, those that he put in charge, would have stood in his counsel, the people would not have error. Why the people wouldn't have error? Because they look up to leadership. And when leadership doing whatever leadership doing, if they're doing it right, the people going to be right. If they're doing it wrong, the people going to be doing it wrong. And so this is where all this messed up and stuff when it comes to the family structure, the head and stuff, from the husband to the wife, from the father and the mother, being an example before the children and stuff. They're going to be doing exactly what they're doing and stuff. So we don't have no structure there. It's going to be a problem. So in other words, the thing is that a lot of us in general come into a family, come together to create a family, but yet we come in damage. Some of them don't even realize that they damage. And then you always hear, oh, I've been divorced 7 times and stuff, and stuff like that and stuff. And you be like, well, when people tell you that, you say, man, there's a problem somewhere going on. But they don't. Everybody else is the problem and not them. Yep. And I talk to people and I say, listen, you saying every last one of them person had a problem. So if every last one of them person had a problem, I mean, you had a problem too, because you had poor judgment. So they wasn't the only one with the problem and stuff. But that is the thing, is to notice how we've been damaged throughout our childhood coming up. And if we don't catch it, it's going to be a continuing thing going on from us to our children and so on and so on. Even to the point that we can affect other families that's doing right. But then when they see how we're acting and stuff we're doing, in other words, for example, I don't know if I've seen it, if other people ever saw it, say you got a married couple and that woman, the woman who married got a single friend. And the single friend, her life is okay. And then, the single friend might see something and say, oh man, I wouldn't do that, child. I wouldn't, do what you doing and go through that and this and that. But yet, you ain't got nobody. She got a family and they doing okay. Whatever little difference that you might think of it. But the thing is that sometimes people listen and say, hey, you know what, you right. I show one. Next thing you know, she's single. And I've seen where that same person told them and all this and that, end up with that person who they broke up with. So see, these are things that goes on and stuff. And so that's why we have to, that's why even the word tells us what? To examine ourselves. And we got to be true to ourselves. Because we do a thoroughly check and examine before we go to that doctor. Because the doctor don't know what's wrong. We have to tell them what's wrong with us. And how do we tell that? Because we didn't examine ourselves. And we give him, the outcome of what we didn't examine. So it's with our own life in general that we got to know if something is wrong with us, if we're dealing with a certain issue, what makes us mad, why we quick temper, why we, can't deal with this situation and that situation, what triggers us and everything. And once we can start noticing that and be real with ourselves, then that's the beginning of healing. That's the beginning of healing. But we have a lot of our people coming into relationships, and that's why a lot of relationships just fall apart fast, quick, and some, end up in tragedy and stuff because not recognizing the issues that we may have. And then our parents before us, didn't recognize the issue or didn't care or didn't know how to deal with it or didn't know how to find help to help us, because they didn't know how to help themselves. So this is another situation and stuff. But somewhere down the line, somebody woke up to the point like, hey, I see what's going on. I see it, and then that's when we can start reiterating back on our own self and say, do I act like that? And one thing people will ask, hey, why you ain't upset about with your child, this and that? And I tell them, I say, I can see some of the things that my child is doing that I did. So I got to be more patient and acceptable to that child because I acted the same way. So now I know how to handle it this way. I can't be mad at him because that child is me. And it got my bloodline in it. So that means that's a correction that I have to work on with that child to make it, better than what it is because of how I am. So that's why the child is the way it is. Even though I'm training the child to be a certain way, it's still going to have those attributes because it's in their blood. And it's something, that's why he say train up a child in a way that it should go. So when it's older, it won't depart from it and stuff. And so that's the beginning of it too, if you're training that child up. But if you're not training that child up, you're going to have a wild child. You're going to have a child that we're saying here, going to be rebellious and stuff. And so these are some of the conditions that, we're dealing with in life with a family circle, because the family circle is a strong and powerful thing. And the enemy know that. And that's why the enemy came to separate, to destroy the family and stuff. And what the first thing he got to do, he got to get that man out of there, because he can't do nothing if that man is in the house, is in that household and stuff. So that's a plan of itself and stuff. So it wasn't never meant for, the thing that they promoted so much, especially in black women, because they know as long as that man is there, that black family is strong. So they instill in them that, oh, you could do it by yourself. You don't need no man. You don't need that. It wasn't about a need. It was about how it was structured from the beginning and stuff. And so we deal with these certain things when you start thinking the way that the enemy done put into their head that, oh, you don't need them and you don't need that. And the next thing you know, guess what? You out there by yourself. Because they told you ain't need it. Then when that enemy started to mess with you, who you gonna call on? That same person you thought you didn't need and stuff. So these are some of the issues that we have to deal with on a regular basis, trying to mend the family. But before you can mend anything, you got to see and understand and comprehend what is the problem. And once we know what the problem is, then we can work on that. So this is so important with the family structure is to fix what's been broken and to recognize that something is broken and stuff. But as long as we stay in denial, it will never be fixed, and it will always stay in broken. But before we go on, it's open to anybody else.
Well, I was thinking, and I know I read it just recently. I think it was in Acts. The first thing that people need to do is get a mirror, just a plain old mirror, right there. And that's when you self-reflect. Ask that person that's looking at you from the other side of that mirror, what is it that's in me? There could be a corrupting influence. There could be leading somebody else to not have faith, or any one of those vices that could be hurtful to other people, to my family, to myself. Mm-hmm. So before we start looking at fixing our environment, we have to
fix
look at
ourselves.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Or else we're talking about a situation where the blind is leading the blind. Mm-hmm. And in the instance where we're coming together as a family of Israelites, you got a lot of that. A lot of self-reflection needs to be done, because we have a lot of blind leading the blind, and a lot of folk are falling in the ditch. So I think once we recognize what some of our faults are and have our brothers and sisters help us to work those out of our system and to adopt new, what is it? I'm studying it too. Galatians, fruits of the Spirit. As we start to develop more fruits of the Spirit, I think that a lot of the negative parts in that reflection kind of start to dissipate. But we have to admit that the problem, a lot of the problems we have our own life. Yeah, start with us. A lot of it is with us.
Just to piggyback what you said about the mirror, you have to use Yah's mirror.
That word.
And commandments. So we can't lean to our own understanding.
Right.
So that's the way we can tell if something is wrong with us. We go by what he says, and based off of what he says, we can see the reflection of sin, and that would lead us in the path to righteousness.
That's right.
We can't use a man's mirror or our own self mirror, but his mirror, and that would be easier to identify what the problem is.
Exactly.
So now, what both of y'all said is correct, and the reason why both illustrations where you gave using Yahuwah word and you gave the mirror. Now the catch to both of them is that we that are woke can use that, but those that are still asleep will have to actually use the regular mirror.
Right.
So that's the two. So that both of y'all had is excellent what you said, and it's great, and it covers both situations. Those that are woke and those that not woke and stuff. So both mirrors will work for each individual because of their status of where they at. Because we can't use that on somebody that's still sleeping because they ain't gonna comprehend it. So we got to give them something where they can relate to and stuff. So that's why we got both tools, and then both of them excellent, which I have put right there illustrated.
Something else that really go along with that. You got to be truthful to yourself.
Exactly.
Some people use that mirror like this look good.
I'm glad you brought that up, because what the word talks about that.
Listen, be truthful. Like, yeah, it sounds okay, but I'm not going to. You got to be truthful. Mirror is a spiritual mirror.
Because what you said, it just matched what the word say. Because the word say, like a man, who looks in at the mirror and walks away and forget his appearance and stuff. Perfect. Anyone else?
Right. Yeah, that reflection part is pretty serious.
Yeah, because nobody don't want to tell on themselves.
No.
That's the hardest thing is, telling on yourself.
Admitting, maybe I am selfish, or maybe I am rude, or maybe
It's hard, but as long as you're following His word, the Most High Yah's word, you can let
Right.
you can let people know, hey, I'm dealing with this here. I need help.
Like since I came to Ghana, I made a list of my triggers, so I know where to heal from.
See, that's it.
Yeah, I made a whole list. This, past trauma, my past
There you go.
relatives, my parents, I see how they are. So I see that can trickle down the blood that you're seeing, the DNA. So that's, I know what my triggers are.
See, and that's the beginning of healing. Knowing yourself and what's bothering you.
That's a good way to do it. Write it down in black.
Yeah.
So you can see it all the time.
Pray about it, fast, talk to Yahuwah. He'll heal you from this issue.
Right.
Yeah, I gotta hear from you.
And he'll do it.
Got to.
This your second book.
That's true.
This will be the beginning of your second book. Part 2.
And he'll do it. I'll tell you, I had so much hatred in me and, you know, the things I went through in life. Yeah, I had a lot of hatred. And I tell you, I had to go to the Most High because I had got to the point where I didn't like myself. And I had to turn to him and ask him to help me.
Yep.
And he's faithful. I know exactly where you're coming from. I went through issues. And sometimes life, just in general, everyday life, whether you're a working single mom, with the deadbeat dad issues and all this, the car insurance and bills and evictions and just life, just stuff, will cause us to adopt sometimes pessimism and just things that are not fruitful, negativity and all that.
Especially in America.
Especially, well, yeah. Especially in America. And these things can sometimes be the catalyst to bitterness and resentment.
Yeah.
And just hatred.
Yeah.
Even hatred.
Because
which is like murder.
Because even what you just saying, it just reminded me, because in the scripture, and how we were saying how people end up on drugs and alcohol and this and that. Even the scripture says it's certain things in life that cause people to act certain ways, whether it be drugs or alcohol or prostitution or whatever they're doing. And the scripture talks about that. It's just certain things in life that trigger people to go there. It's a crutch to like get them some comfort. It don't heal them, but it'll ease their pain for that little short period of time. And then when that pain, when they realize, when that's over, and then they realize the pain's still there, then they do it again. Just to calm them down. And these are, in the script, like the scripture says, these are some of the things, people do that, because of whatever triggered them in their life to come, because that's all they know. See, and that's why it's good when we see people in certain situations, we can sympathize with some of them, because if that's all they know, that's all they know. But then those that know better, and we know that they know better, we can't sympathize with them because there ain't no excuse. You can say something?
No.
Oh.
I had read somewhere a long time ago that in every man, every person born, there's a Yahuwah-sized hole somewhere, and it piggybacks on what you were saying. And people try to fill it with those other things. Drugs, alcohol, partying, whatever, but they're not really facing the truth of what's really making me do this, that, or the other thing. What's really making me want to chain smoke or turn up and all
But
that.
for some, it's just hard because when you try to talk with them, you know what you done went through, and you see they going through the same thing. When you try to talk to them, oh no, I don't believe in that. They don't believe in God. So what can you do?
Nothing.
You have to talk to them when they like that. You have to talk to them, start off talking to them on their level, what they can understand, what they can comprehend. That's what we were talking about earlier and stuff when you had the restaurant. That everybody, you can't start off with that. You got to start off with them what they can comprehend and stuff.
Right.
On their level and stuff until they gradually work up to that. So when you doing it, you can give them your experience of how you came, what you went through and how you dealt with certain things and stuff. So that's how you have to deal with people and stuff at that level.
Talk to them and just tell them, listen, start getting to know the Father, or I don't believe. I don't try to tell them what to just, when I told them when I was going through it, I couldn't do nothing but lean and depend on him. And I just tell them, hey, just start talking with the Father and getting to know him and, read a little scripture, But I say, pick out a chapter you want to read. Just read one or two sentences out of it. No, I don't believe it. I
Yeah,
don't believe
because
it.
even with that, you still can't. All you can do is just give them your testimony. You can't even tell them to say, do that.
So, and we face that here. Coming over, I think a lot of us believe that everybody is coming over because the Father has drawn us. And that could very well be the case. The Father will draw us whether we're right with Him or not right with Him, because He knows at some point the ones that are not considered right with Him will be right.
Mm-hmm.
But in the interim, when you get shut down by folks that are like, well, that's not my thing, that's your thing, and I believe in the ancestors, they're gonna help me out and do this and do that. It's like,
but guess what?
What do you even say? I mean,
but you don't have to say nothing, because what the words say, one will plant a seed. Somebody later on going to put some water on it, but Yahuwah is the one that's going to get an increase.
Yeah.
So it's up to him, if he's going to bring it forth and stuff. So you did your part.
That's true. And he says also that his word would not return void.
Mm-hmm.
But does that, and then there's also the seed that falls on the rocky soil
right.
and all that other stuff. So
right.
sometimes we really don't know what we're dealing with.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's just a matter of putting the word out there, and one.
That's it.
teacher I used
That's
to
all you
hear,
do. Yeah.
Drop it like it's hot.
Mm-hmm. And keep it going. Go ahead. Yeah.
And it brings together a few things. You mentioned earlier, I think, like resentment, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you guys have noticed, but in talking with different people in the PAV, it's like people have been burned by the church, burned by religion. I find that there's a lot of people who believe in God, right? But they won't necessarily call Him Yah. They won't necessarily call Him Jesus, because they've been burned by the church. They've been burned by religion. Am I the only one who's noticed this? And
oh yeah.
What do we do about that? How do we begin the healing? How do we assist with the healing?
So that's why I say, when it comes to the healing and dealing with these situations, because like you say, a lot of these people right here, just pushed everything out the way, because all they can see right now is what they're going through, and only the people around them. And so to them, it's no help, it's no higher power, it's no higher being, and this and that. So with these type of situations, that healing got to start genuinely from us, genuinely showing love to one another. That's how it's going to start off. Point blank, the healing going to start off with us. That's when it goes back to saying being our brother's keepers. All that got to start from us, showing that love towards one another, no matter what that person's situation is. Whether they're alcoholic, whether they're a drug dealer, whether they're a prostitute, don't look at them as that, because whatever caused them to be in that predicament at that time and stuff, we ain't had no control over that. So how we do that, we respect them as a human being. You show them that respect, because even Yahushua, he said, I have drawn you with love and kindness. And that's what we got to show the people and stuff. A lot of people brush those people off. They talk about them. They push them further down than what they are. And that's how that healing going to start, showing that, we're loving them for who they are, not for what they're doing, this and that, because that's just a life situation. But when we start to show that kind of care, that we actually love them, we care for them, this and that, and you ain't even got to say nothing. Your action will speak for yourself. Because guess what? People listen more to what they see you do than what you tell them. They always do by what they see you do, not what you be telling them and stuff. Because they really watching to see if you're going to do what you say, or if you that type of person living that certain life and stuff. And that's how that healing process is going to start, when we're dealing with these people and stuff. And like I say, a lot of things that we don't have to say, we do, more by our action. But most of the time, people just want us to listen to what they got to say. When people be talking, people, I ain't got time to be, hearing this and that. We got to make time for these people, especially if they pouring their stuff out, because you already know that's kind of hard for people to do anyway, when they're dealing with something, to talk to somebody about it and stuff. And so it's going to take us to be able to just sit there and just listen, what they got to say. Let them rant, let them get it out, because that's what they're doing. They're releasing themselves on us and stuff. Even the words say, it says, let me remember, it says, confess one to another and stuff. So that's what it's talking about, those situations that you're dealing with. I know we can't do it with everybody, because everybody ain't mature enough or to that level, to become. But once you know those person that is, just talk with that person and stuff. So that's how we deal with those that's going through these type of things with them and stuff. without pushing scriptures on them or this and that. We just have to listen to them because right now they're in a stage of like pretty much being a baby and stuff because of what they're going through and how they're dealing with stuff. So we gotta treat them like infants and stuff. We gotta handle them with very care.
I think a lot of people, I can't speak for everybody, but I think a majority of the percentage of people that have that feeling, they don't see themselves in here. This is a historical and prophetic book. And a lot of the colonialism, what they did was they beat us with this thing, they use it as a weapon against us. And so they can't really see themselves in it, so they turn their back on it. Like they don't want to be controlled, like mind control. But if they can see themselves in it, like Deuteronomy 28, like this is us.
It'll give them some hope.
That were taken by ships for 400 years, like this is us. This whole book is talking about us. Nations or countries have fought over us. The French, all of the Dutch, they went to wars over us. So if they kind of like what you said before, like unlearn, you have to start relearning again and see this in a different light, that this is about you and Yahuwah loves you and the whole process that comes with it. I think there'll be a turning. I think it will truly be a turning, but they see it as it's a tool of the enemy. Y'all indoctrinated us with this thing. Like they said on the tour that we went to at the castle, they came and gave us the Bible, told us to pray with our eyes closed, and we opened our eyes, all the land, and the people were gone. And so some of that has come, I think, from colonialism and indoctrination and just having us to unlearn and then to relearn again who we are.
So they put, like you say, and they just took our history book while we was in the mix, flipped everything, and then turned everything around, which it was prophesied that was going to happen anyway and stuff. And so, so just like Sister Madeline said, these are some of the things that, like you say, we have to deal with, and these some of the things that's got to work back, and we have to give them, like I say, they like children, we have to give them that story, like what you were saying. The cause is always something. It's a beginning of every cause, and that's how we have to deal with the people. When we talk with them, say, let's go back to the beginning. Let's see how we ended up where we ended up at. Let's see who to blame for it. And once we can show them who is to blame for it and the reason why we in that situation, I think it'll help ease their pain a lot more and stuff. And we just being truthful with them and stuff, and we showing them and telling them this is why we in this condition, because this right here happened back then and stuff. And I know people say, but I wasn't back there then, and why I gotta pay for it? And I say, hey, sins of the father. I say it's like somebody done did something bad. They come to your house. You don't know your family member done did something to some people. Guess what? When them people are after him and they see where he went at, guess what? Some people don't care. They're gonna shoot up the whole house. They don't care who in there or not. So I tell them this is the reaction of why we in the predicament we in today. Because a covenant that our forefathers made, they broke it, and so we was collateral damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We went to church. We saw the pastor going wrong. We saw the deacon.
Dig it down.
Yes.
It just looked just like the world.
Bingo.
But they never told us, there's some laws you need to follow so you don't look like the world. We used to watch the 10 Commandments every Easter Sunday.
Yeah.
The 10 Commandments. Watching what we not doing.
No, right.
In the church you go to, we're under grace, you can do whatever. You can't do whatever on the job. On the day, I'm sure I can take weeks off without vacation because I'm under grace. So you'll be fine.
Yeah, so true. See that? So in other words, it could be something that's good, like this book of instruction, but can be taught by the wrong person. That can mess everything up.
But he who has begun a good work shall be faithful to complete it, right? He who has begun a good work will be faithful to complete it. Even if, because I walked out of the church, I think I was 19, and it was like, this is it. This is a crazy house. People screaming and shouting and falling all over the place, wigs twirling around. Almost hitting babies next to me. I don't know what I'm talking about. You have to step over people just to get to the door. I don't know anything about this God thing, but I know it's not here. It ain't here, and then you walk away for 20 years. 20 or more years, to be honest. And you look back later, and the father, he never left. He watched you walk out, and he was with you the whole time, until you woke back up, until he woke you back up. He was with you. He saw what you saw. He saw what you experienced. But the church definitely did more harm than good for a lot of people than the same sister, the same Mother Jones.
You know,
speaking in tongues every Sunday.
Yeah.
Same one.
See, and that's what I was talking about. We have to go back to the beginning to show them like you say, way back to show them. Because even the words say, incline in the old pathway. And when you find it, walk therein. So when we find that old pathway, we're supposed to walk in it and stuff. See, and that's why I say everything here is in our history book. And we will start following that way. Everything will start lining back up the way it's supposed to be. We won't have to work. We won't be the tail no more. We'll become back to being the head. We won't be the borrowers. We'll become back being the lenders and stuff. But we have to follow those instructions. That's why he say when you incline or find the old pathway, and when you do, walk therein. But even back then, right after you read below that, our people said, we ain't gonna do it.
We're not gonna do it.
That's what they said. They ain't gonna do it. And so, as you were saying about the churches and this and that, it was already prophesied that we was gonna be in that predicament. You know how you say people walked away because they was abused and this and that. Well, in Deuteronomy 28, he told us that, okay, I'm gonna have you're gonna serve wood and stone. Wood being Christianity, the stone being Islam or Muslim and stuff. And so we was already prophesied thousands of years ahead that, hey, this is where y'all gonna end up being, because y'all being disobedient, you being stubborn, stiff-necked, you wanna do what you wanna do, so I'm gonna put y'all in that predicament and tell y'all he wiped us until he just, pretty much took everything away from us, where we lost our culture, we lost our language, we lost the one that we served and everything. We lost all that. We was ignorant. Yeah, that's what happened. We lost our mind. We lost it for real. Yeah, all that because our ancestors and stuff, and it trickled on down and stuff. So now it's that time, because it said it had, until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. So that time is up, and now everything is starting to be reversed, and they know this, and that's why they're trying to speed up and do stuff that they're doing today. So, and that was the main thing: destroy the families, confuse the families, separate the families. And when you do that, you got so much on your mind, you ain't much got time to pray, because you so busy trying to stay alive and survive and stuff. You don't lost your senses of praying, who to call for, who to help, because you trying to handle your situation and stuff. And that was all designed that way and stuff. And so these are some of the things, why we deal and go through what we go through. It says, perhaps you live in a home where one or more of these problems exist, where genuine love is a fading memory, and peace a total stranger. A home which has become verbal battleground between husband and wife, father and son, mother and daughter, brother and sister. A home where ridicule has replaced respect, and where physical or mental cruelty is the norm. So you look at life. Some people look at life that, oh well, this is just life. This is how my life always been. So you think it's normal. It says, if you do, then take courage, because all is not lost. For incredible as this may sound, it is still possible, even at a very late stage, to reverse such a trend and to turn your home into a sanctuary of true love and peace, a place where every member of the family is welcome and valued. How can this seemingly impossible objective be achieved? That's the question. The answer is so simple that there is a real danger you may dismiss it with a shrug of unbelief. But don't do that, because this remedy really does work, and multiple millions of believers through the ages have applied it with success. Here is the remedy, a spiritual formula in a single sentence. So we see that it's all going to start back. Number one, do you want to be healed? And we know that those that don't want to be healed, what they do? They have pity parties, temper tantrums. They stay in that. Even when you're trying to help them, they still they have this way of, you know, pushing you back, and they just want you to, in other words, they want you to baby them and stuff, but yet they're not trying to heal themselves. They're not trying to get correct. They just want that attention. You know how we always say misery loves company and stuff. But why be miserable when you can be healed and delivered from that and stuff? So these are some of the situations that now we know the conditions, we see the issue, we see the problem. Now we starting to see how we can deal with that issue and with that problem. And first, everything starts off with an individual. Before it can start off with a couple, they have to start off with the individual, because every individual have to deal within himself, you know. And once you can deal with self, then you can move to the next step of a relationship. And then from that relationship, then you can move, once you fix yourself, then once you fix that relationship between husband and wife, then you can move on to the family, to the children, which make that, what combines you as that family and stuff. And once we see these, so it's a step-by-step thing and stuff. Dealing with ourselves, dealing with the companion, then dealing with the children. And once we get that right there, you know, as a whole completed, and we lock in that family circle right there, and guess what? That family, instead of being individual, because you know these right here you can break, but when you make this right here, it become powerful, and that's that family. You know, they single by themselves, but when you come together, it become hard and unbreakable and stuff. Now that family can move forward and stuff, and then that will help once people see that example and stuff. Now you got the process, you got the ingredients of how to fix the situation, and people see that, you know, because I know some people probably come on and say, man, I love your family, man. Y'all do this, y'all do that. Y'all go here, y'all do this, y'all laugh, y'all have fun. Or if you have any issues, you know, you deal with it. You don't, you know. And so when people see that, because they see you, people watch you from a distance. They don't heard what you talking about. They don't heard what you say you about, and they watch you. I mean, we got people watching us all the time without, you know, even knowing that they're watching you, waiting to see, you know, if you're gonna live true to who you say you is and what you do and these kind of things and stuff. And so these are the examples that how we got to go continue to move forward. And as you were saying, you know, earlier on how people been so damaged by the, you know, the way the church is, you know, set up and the things that they did and this and that. So now we're dealing with a whole bunch of, you know, things and stuff with ourselves first, and then we feel that, you know, ourselves done got healed. Now we can move to the next step and then eventually be able to, you know, help them to heal themselves and stuff.
Now, just to piggyback on what he was saying, we went to Naples, Florida. We was celebrating Sukkot, and all of us was out there. It was about what, 3 families?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We was all out there having a good time. We had our grandchildren, they had their children, we had, you know, all our grandkids out there, and every day we got up, we cooked, we was reading the word, we sang every day. Did not know we was being watched.
Mm-hmm.
There was this couple that came, they white, they came, and we didn't know they was watching us. But what it was, like the 3rd day, they decided to come over, or the 4th day, they decided to come over and say, we was all sitting around reading the word, and he came, he said, we just wanted to come over and say hi, and they introduced themselves, and we introduced ourselves, and they said, we've never seen this before.
A black family.
Black family, black
and
people.
Young people.
Coming together and nobody's fighting. Yeah, this is what this thing is doing.
Mm-hmm. Camping, y'all got the children.
Y'all got the children, they so mannerable and like,
yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised who's watching you, but they said they never saw that.
Media.
No.
I point a lot about that whole media and what they showed them who they are. Like, but I don't act like that because we don't watch BET.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't act like that. I don't speak that way. Like, what is this? But yeah, so they probably was like, yeah, we never saw
that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they were so shocked. They even sat there with us. Till what, about 10 or 11 o'clock that night?
Sat down with us.
Sat down
let
with
us,
me.
you know, showed us the type of business they was doing. Took us inside their camper.
He was just amazed.
They was just waiting to see how long it was going to take before y'all start smoking weed.
Probably it took them like 4 days, or they was just, you know. But they came over, and they just like, we can't believe it. I'm looking at this man like, okay, where you been?
So they never saw family, you know.
Fight or, you know.
But see, that's all they see. That's all.
Because the ones who, you know, because the other family that were with us, they like 20 years younger than us and stuff. And so seeing them with their children, and you know, we had our grandchildren with us, and seeing them with their children and stuff, that really, you know, blew their mind, I guess. You know, when they saw that.
Yeah, because their perception, and you know, when it comes to them, the Father draws them too. He draws them close also. You never know when you might meet that family again.
Right.
You know, you may have influence. But yeah, he definitely does draw them. I used to have experiences, small experiences like that.
Yeah, but I'll just say that because he's right. We have to be careful when we tell people who we are and who we're living for. They will be watching, waiting for you to slip up and make a mistake.
See what this cult is about.
The enemy's watching too.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Even
Yes.
closer. Yeah, and listening.
Oh yes, definitely.
Very true.
We're going to go to Proverbs, the 31st chapter. So while y'all looking for that, I'll read this. The wife, the mother, 31. A million words would not suffice to tell the worth of a good wife. She is the heart of the family, just as surely as the husband is the head. The scriptures abound with praises for the woman who reaches Yahuwah's standard. For then thus she becomes a blessing to the whole community and a lasting joy to her husband. Now, you know, everybody quick to, you know, especially a lot of women, they love to use that particular scripture. Oh, the Bible says if you find a wife, you find a good thing. Not understanding what it's talking about and stuff, because everything that this scripture is talking about a person that's living that certain lifestyle and being obedient to his commandments, law, statute, and judgment. So it ain't just talking about no any woman and stuff. And that's what people, you know, that's what some of them, they don't comprehend and stuff. Are you that good woman? Are you that good thing that the Bible talks about? As you being obedient to Yahuwah? Are you following his command? If you ain't doing that, you ain't that woman that's talking about. And that's where a lot of them get confused and stuff. Even, you know, on the basic thing and stuff. But I like how the scriptures put it and stuff, because it says a million words would not suffice to tell the worth of a good wife and stuff. Because it says, you know, we were saying how it says she is the heart of the family, just as sure as the husband is the head. And they have a big responsibility, and that's why a lot of people don't want responsibility. I noticed that a lot of people don't want responsibility. And when you don't want to if you don't want to have responsibility, then it's going to be some stuff that ain't going to act right. It just ain't going to be right because you don't want to be responsible for nothing. So you just going to be loosey-goosey and let everything, whatever, go because you don't want no responsibility. And I can see that in how some of the children act, because you don't want the responsibility to raise your child the way it should be raised and stuff. And you know how some of these parents get aggravated. Oh, go somewhere. You know, they tell them, go somewhere, go outside, go, you know, get out of here, you know, this and that. And you know, already right there it shows, hey, you ain't being responsible. Because you don't want to deal with, you know, they children. Children gonna be children. You forgot how it was to be a child and stuff. So when you do that, you throwing away your responsibility, because you telling a child, just go somewhere. You know, that child might be, okay, you want me to go somewhere? Who knows, tell them who that child gonna be hanging out with, a pimp, a drug dealer, alcoholic, drug, and all this kind of stuff. And so we have to be very, very careful. But I like how the scriptures put the woman on that pedestal, showing them the value. You know, you are very valuable and stuff, you know, and all and stuff. Especially if you're doing these things, you are very valuable. But you have to live up to the standard that Yahuwah set for them. And then it says what? It says the scripture abounds with praises for the woman that does what? Who reaches Yahuwah's standard. So that's what it's talking about when you find that good wife, you find a good thing. So it's talking about him, that woman reaching that standard of Yahuwah. So it's a standard and stuff. And he always put that top in it. So that mean that woman, you could probably say, oh, that woman got some pressure on her now and stuff, to do the right thing, to live a certain way and this and that. But when you embrace it, it's not pressure, because it's something that you want to do. You striving in and out. You on skates and you moving smoothly with it and everything and stuff. And so it let us know that, hey, that woman reaches that Yahuwah standards, and for then thus she becomes a blessing to the whole community, not only her family, but to the whole community and stuff. You know, because in what the scripture was I told you to get
in Titus.
Stay in Proverbs, but we're just gonna read this one. And because this is something that need to be did and passed down from generation to generation.
You want me to start from the first or the third?
Yeah, I think because two of them for the one, third, and 3 and 4, right?
Yeah, okay. We're in Titus chapter 2, starting at the 3rd verse. Say, teach the older women likewise that they be in their behavior as become set apartness, not false accusers, not as serving too much wine, teachers of good things, that they may teach the young women to be modest, to love their husbands and their children.
See, and that's why I say it became a disconnect somewhere down the line with our family. You know, especially when we had our grandparents, you know, seeing it, then seeing our parents and stuff, and then when we came along, and then somewhere in between everything, that disconnect and that teaching just started, you know, flowing away and this and that, you know. And so, yeah, when we started to do this, when that structure stayed there, because that was a structure that we had there, you know, the women, you know, teaching the next generation of women and this and that, and how to dress, how to act, how to carry themselves, you know, and everything and stuff. And then somewhere down the line, people just got rid of it, you know, just stopped doing it. Oh man, I ain't doing that. My mom and them was acting like this, and they talking about doing this and that. Hey, I'm gonna do what I want to do. I'm gonna be what I want to be. And so from that right there, then what's gonna happen? I mean, the children, they generation coming up ain't gonna be taught that stuff, and so they ain't gonna have these type of values and this type of structure and stuff. So they just gonna be like wild children, wild child and stuff, doing whatever they big and bad enough to do and stuff.
Verse 5 says, be sensible, good homemakers, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of Yahuwah is not reproached.
See, now, this is when the enemy, now you heard it say, the enemy came in and said, that's when he said he got to destroy the family. Now, why? Because the man was doing what they supposed to do, provide for the family. You know, and the woman was home taking care of the children and this and that, doing that, teaching the children too, teaching them, you know, everything and stuff. But it came along, what? Boom, get that man out of the house. Guess what? Make them depend on the government, or either make them have to go to work. And now what? Then the children left alone. Now all the structure is gone. Now who teaching the children? TV and whoever else in the street and stuff. So these things, Yahuwah had a structure, but the enemy said, "Hey, we're gonna have to take this apart and stuff. We're gonna have to escalate this, move everything apart. That way we can do our part and destroy the whole family and everything." And so this is what happened and stuff. But yet, because they put it in their head, right? Oh man, that was the olden days. That's old fashioned. I want to go and work too and this and that. But yeah, they had everything. You had everything coming in, regardless and stuff. You had, you know, you were home. You didn't have to. In other words, you didn't have to deal with the men had to deal with those headaches and them heartaches out there, dealing with the boss and dealing with whatever else went on with life. And that was the protection one of the protections that the man was giving the woman. That, hey, you here? You ain't got to worry about what's going on in the world. All that's going to be on me. We're going to take care of that. We're going to deal with it. I'm going to take them bruises and bumps and bruises and stuff. And so in other words, why should both have to deal with bumps and bruises? Then you come home and then it's going to be arguments, it's going to be issues, it's going to be problems. Then you're slapping each other around, then you're slapping the children around because you're frustrated, this and that. But as long as that wife was home and taking care of everything and this and that, somebody got in their head later on and say, hey, you know, you shouldn't be doing that. You know, you got equal rights and this and that. You could do that. And they were like, oh yeah, you know, you're right. You know, just these little things that get in people's head and trigger something and stuff. Just like when you go back with Adam and Kahul, she all, you know, the enemy only could come to her when Adam ain't around, because he ain't gonna be able to deal with Adam. So he wait till she get by herself. Hey girl, you know, hey, get a piece of that. You're gonna be like, you know, this and that, you know. So these are some of the things that we have to see and understand and comprehend, that you know, the grass ain't green like you think it is on the other side and stuff. They got some stuff over there that you haven't been over there to see and stuff. You where you at, you can deal with this and deal with that and stuff. And so people like I say, people are trying to say, oh, that was old fashioned. You know, you ain't got to be staying home with them children and this and that and all this. But yet now you see that the mess that the world is pretty much in and stuff, let alone with us as a whole, as people and stuff. So now that when that was going on and then you taught the next generation, those households was excellent, because say for the male child, for the children in whole, that mother would be there for, say, those 12 years taking care of the boys and the girl. And then when that boy got like 12 years old, then he would go out with his father and start learning other stuff and stuff. He done got nurtured, he done got to a certain point, but now he's manning up. Now he can go with his father and start doing other things and learning other things and stuff. He done got everything. He done got his first set of learning, you know, from his mom, his mother and stuff, and like that. And then the girl, the daughters, they'll still be there and going to their next level of learning, you know, different things and stuff. And so, and then they were always, but everything worked together, because once the husband came home from doing whatever he had to do, and the wife was home doing whatever he had to do, everything was moving like clockwork and stuff. And you think about it to the point that a lot of people didn't realize that even when you read the scripture, that they had help. The women that wasn't the wife, she had a handmaid. Yeah. She had servants, you know, people that was helping her. So she just wasn't doing it all by herself and stuff. And that's another thing. But that's another thing that got taken away from us, because of, you know, the situation we got put in, because of disobedience. We lost, like I said, everything got so stripped away that we was fending for ourselves and stuff. So now the day what all the parents got to work, even some of the children got to work. Even seeing here, you see some of these children have to go to work to help out, you know, do what and meet and stuff. But because of disobedience, we got pushed out the way and all these things. See, so this we see the failure or the reaction of everything that happened because of sin. And people be asking the question, why we going through this? Why we there? I tell them quick, sin. Sin is the destroyer of everything. And I was letting the people know and see that and stuff. So just to say that, how it had a structure of the older women teaching the younger women. Now, you see some of the older women, they act just like the younger women. And so they ain't getting no structure, they ain't getting no teaching or nothing and stuff, because of the way they acting now. They trying to still be young and stuff. I said, your time has passed. Move out the way. Let the young people do what they got to do.
Yeah, my mom in her 70s and she's still telling people she's 29. Lady, stop that. You got children over there. Come on.
I think every generation has gotten worse.
Yeah.
And we could even see it, like you made reference to BET. That's probably the worst thing that ever happened to our people. Mm-hmm. Probably the worst.
But you know, but see, that's where the enemy played a part, because BET wasn't like it was at the beginning.
Like in the beginning.
And the enemy say, and this show you who's being controlled. They came, and you know it was a power move, and probably threatened his life too, because who gonna get television is a powerful thing. Yeah. It could be good or it could be bad. And BT was on the line. They had it going with, it was educational and everything they had and stuff. And they came to him and told him, we give you a basketball team. You give us that. So that was kind of like the trade-off and stuff. Who in their right mind willingly going to give up a TV station to get a basketball team? See, so these are the kind of things that happen and stuff. So it was made that way to mess our people up. So every time we was thriving in a positive way, they always did something to mess it up, to change it and stuff.
I think even before, I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. I was just thinking, even after BET, what was it before BET? The 60s. Women's did, what we want to do.
Yeah, that was all a plan.
Just all
destroy the family.
It was total destruction. The women, I could do what a man can do, so I should pay. Just insanity. There was women's football football teams.
Yeah.
Women's
Yeah.
football teams.
Yeah, I know.
And who wants to watch them? I mean, you know, it's just nonsense. But it was,
Yeah.
it was strategically
Yeah.
developed. Strategically developed.
Yeah, just like hip hop back in the days. When it first came out,
Yeah.
all
It was
righteous.
positive. Yeah.
Righteous,
It was
like
positive. It had a message, you know.
Unity. And then after a while,
And people took
Jewish
over.
people came in
Yeah.
to control.
Yeah.
That's when they started putting the poison.
It was a plan to do that.
I
Yeah.
kill you, I kill you. Kill the ox.
Yeah.
That's all.
Drugs, pop pills,
Yeah, pop
yeah,
pills,
all kinds of
You
working.
sound like an old man. It all sounds the same.
yeah.
And then you can tell, oh, that's Curtis Blow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what you get. Now, like, who's that? The same person.
Exactly.
Same, in the same
Yeah.
lyrics, same video,
Mm-hmm.
See what
all
I'm
the
saying?
same.
Yeah.
Everything is spiritual because they don't be like beats and drums.
Yeah.
Beats, they took the beat to the next.
Mixing spirits.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because for half of them, I asked them, what they saying? I don't know, but it don't sound good. The beat. And I say, see, I say that's what got you right there. Because I say even a baby moves off a beat.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
Exactly.
I hear some Ghanaian music, and it's like, I mean, the beats are. I mean, you have to.
Yeah.
The beats are catchy. You don't know what they're saying. The beats are like.
Yeah. So that just shows you the power in certain things and stuff. That even those sound waves, that vibration and stuff makes you move and stuff. Even
Frequency.
right, yeah. Because even people that's deaf, they can dance to the music. They don't hear, but they say they feel it, and that's how they know how to move and stuff. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, think about it. Was the world created through voice, through that vibration?
Yes.
Word.
Yeah.
So we were created to resonate with that
Right.
in our
Yeah.
very core.
Right. Because what did Adam say when Yahuwah was coming? When
Now you can
he
hear them walking in the garden.
bingo right there. He heard him walking in the garden. So that's power right there. That's vibration. It's like, in other words, when he said he could hear him walking in the garden,
Right.
thunder. When you hear that thunder
It would happen.
and they're rolling, that's that's what you say pretty much. Yeah, what Adam heard right there.
There was a study that we had, we were learning about Lucifer. He was the angel that was made with all these instruments and all this stuff.
Yeah, because he brought in the morning glory.
He
Yeah.
was in charge of the music and led the worship. And so now we see how he corrupted the music.
Oh, yeah.
Because he knows what goes to
Yeah.
play, the frequencies. He knows all about these things and what makes us to start moving. Because sometimes the song come on and you just dancing before you even know it. You're like,
What it's saying, yeah. Yeah.
He knows all those little intricacies.
Yeah, because Yahuwah didn't take that away from him. He kicked him out, but he never took those abilities and powers that he had. He didn't take that from him. Yep. So Proverbs 31. It says, somebody read verse 10 and 11, talking about she's virtuous, therefore priceless.
Who can find a virtuous woman with her prices far above rubies? The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he should have no need of spoil.
So that's a powerful saying in itself. It says, who can do what? The 10th verse. It says, who can do what?
Who can find a virtuous woman?
See that? Who can find one? So the key to that, and the reason why it says who can find one, how would you even know how to look for a virtuous woman? So that shows you that everybody is not capable of finding or even know how to even look for a virtuous woman. What is the attributes of a virtuous woman? But the only people who know that is the ones who study the word. Because any average person, I can say before I even woke up to the truth, just being out there, I didn't know nothing about no virtuous woman. I didn't even know, if somebody would say, hey, go find a virtuous woman, I wouldn't even know what to look for. Or even how to start to look for. What is the attributes of a virtuous woman and stuff? So that's why I like how the words say that. Who can find a virtuous woman? Not anybody. So,
Price is far above rubies.
say that again.
Well, her price is far above rubies.
Her prices.
I didn't have to know the next dollars.
Says high above rubies, and we know rubies is expensive.
They're precious stones.
Yes. So that shows you and stuff that price pretty much. What it's saying, it can't be bought. It can't be bought. I mean, so in other words, for you to find that ticket, and that's what it's talking about when you find a good wife or a good woman and stuff. That's what it's talking about. And for you to be able to find that, I mean, you already got to be, a man got to already be living that certain lifestyle. Right. So in other words, for you to find that, I mean, you live in a lifestyle that will connect with that, will be able to find it. So in other words, those energies, those waves, those vibrations is going to connect you with that type of person. So you are a human metal detector. Yeah, people be out there looking for metals and gold with that machine. But that's what you become by living this life according to the word, that you'll connect, you'll find that virtuous woman, because it's going to be a signal. Something's going to go off. Because why? Because both of y'all have that same type of spirit to be able to connect. So that metal detector that they be looking for gold, and they put it on it because it got different molecules in it and stuff. So that's what that spirit is in both of you and that woman and stuff. That's going to connect, that set apart spirit, that ruach. That's going to connect. It's going to set off that signal, that beeping sound within you and stuff. Just like how the people do when they're looking for different metals. Because when they're out there looking for metals, they have to turn that knob to a certain thing. They can't put it on gold and be trying to find brass. It ain't gonna work. So that means there's something in there that's made when they turn it to that certain knob on there, looking for that particular metal, that it's going to connect for them to find that metal and stuff. And so is it with us, within us, with that spirit be within us, for us to connect with one another.
So many in my generation are stuck on the physical, right?
Yeah.
They have, like you were saying earlier, they have no idea what a virtuous woman is. They're not looking for that, they're looking for the physical. Does she look good? Does she have a long straight hair? Does she have the hourglass? Is she wearing the right clothes? Etc. They're stuck on the
physical thing. And I'm glad you brought that up, because we see in the word, if y'all remember, it described how Yahushua would look when he come. And he wasn't nothing. Matter of fact, it's in Isaiah. What that was, Isaiah 53? But it's talking about how Yahuwah looked. We were just reading it.
Yeah.
In Isaiah 53.
He had like no visage that anyone.
Yeah, he don't look good. Yeah. Ugly, pretty, wasn't nothing attractive to look along. And the good thing about that, the reason why Yahuwah made him come like that, because what's the day when you look at people, like you were just saying, they looking for that nice looking preacher and stuff. That's what draw them in. Oh man, that preacher, I pastor this and I pastor. So people look for people to look good, not only be speaking good word, but they want them, like you say, look good, handsome, all built and this and that. But Yahuwah had another plan. He said, I want you to accept me for who I am. That's why he said, I have drawn you with love and kindness. You come to me because I have drawn you with love and kindness. Not how I look, not my figure, nothing like that. So that shows you that it was genuine. When the people came to him, they came genuine, not because of how he looked, because he wasn't attractive and stuff. So it was because of his love and kindness that he drawed them and stuff.
That's been lost today completely.
Oh yeah.
Like the deception is just rampant.
No discernment.
None.
It's right here what I see.
Yeah, exactly. And everything is fake. It's all fake. You're falling for something that's not even real. Complete deception from the beginning to the end.
Yeah.
Eyelash, fake eyes.
Got the weave in their head. They got injection in the lips. They got booty pads, and there's all this kind of stuff going on and stuff. And you're like, who is you? It reminded me of the movie. I think it was. And the guy, he was faking, and the woman was faking, and she said, oh, and she took off her, and snatched out her booty pad, and then took off her leg. Oh, I had a false leg. Before you know it, she was like this, hopping on one leg, everything. She was a whole different person and stuff. Yeah, it just shows you, how phony, how people build themselves to become something that they're not. Nobody's like, nobody want the authentic, the original you, of that person and stuff. That natural. I want natural. Let me see natural. Stuff.
It's all about the arm candy.
They all started to look alike. They had the same weave.
Yeah.
The same makeup. The same weave.
Same clothes. And shows, I don't watch American shows like that, you know, Housewives of Atlanta and crap like that. I mean, that's like, all the women look the same.
The same.
In all these reality shows where they have sisters, all of them look exactly the same, straight wigs.
Yeah.
It's
Same
just like,
jobs.
yes, tight, short.
Yeah.
So that's the new family structure. See, and that is a family structure. I tell you, it's just gone. It's gone. They filling in something that's missing, and that's what they still, even in the show, they're looking to replace something that's missing within them and stuff. And this is the only way they know how to get it. But we know it's only for a season. You know, it's on land. Then they're gonna be looking for something else. You know, and then something else, and then. And ain't gonna be never satisfied and never pleased and stuff.
Yeah.
So go to staying in the same chapter. It says she is not lazy but industrious. That's verse 13 to 15. Verse 13 through 15. Everybody read it.
She seeketh wool and flax, and worketh willingly with her hands. She is like the merchant ships. She bringeth her food from afar. She rideth also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household, and portion to her maidens.
So in other words, she doing what it takes and stuff. She's showing you her virtualness in everything that she's doing. She's not lazy. She, in other words, is one that talks about where a man would bring something, you know, home, and he would give his wife whatever. And she wouldn't say, she'll flip it. Like me, like say, hey, you get something, hey, flip that thing. That way you can get more and stuff. So it's another scripture that talks about that, how she would take that and make it increase and stuff. Because they say, you know, a woman, you have those women that will tear a house down, you got those women that will build a house up.
Yeah. Isn't that something now, a lot of times when we were children, it seemed like our mothers never went to bed. You know how you go to bed?
Yeah,
They're still up.
They still up, yeah.
You get up in the morning, it's like, you're still in there. So what, do they just never go to sleep? But this was, of course, pre-60s, pre-BT, and things of that nature. But
so go ahead and read. Go ahead. You have to say.
Yeah, that's why I say, if you tell a modern day woman about this, she'll quick to fight you. Who you think that is? I ain't even no kitchen.
yeah.
Get out of here, that bull.
Yeah, I ain't no maid. I ain't your servant.
They want to change the wedding vows.
Yeah.
He's subservient to you. No, I'm not supposed to.
See, and I'm glad you brought that up, because people don't even, a lot of women don't even know the power in that. They think when you say being submissive that you being a wimp and this and that, but they don't realize the power in that. Because when you, even in the word, when you read that old woman that was submissive, their husband would give them the world if possible, with hands down, no argument. In other words, that submissive woman could ask for whatever she wanted, and he would get it for her. Why? Because she showed her value. As I say, more than higher than a person. She showed her virtualness and her value and how she was to her husband, and being submissive. And all it was is that really doing what she's supposed to do as a wife. And that's all it was and stuff. But I think the world puts it where it makes the word submissive look bad and stuff.
They say obey.
Yeah. I mean, even the scriptures say obey your husband.
Yeah.
Your husband, not nobody else's husband, nobody other man. He say obey your own.
But that
your own.
We have problems with that anyway.
Definitely. So we see, there you go. And it's an order.
Yeah.
The man have to obey the Most High. And if you say that you love the Most High and stuff, then it shouldn't be no problem with you obeying his servant, who he had put in charge, that's looking out for the family, that's trying to protect the family, that's doing right for the family and stuff. So what's the problem?
And you is an order.
Yeah, he left an order.
Yeah.
Who's to obey the world? Exactly. Get my job in 10 minutes.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I can be the police obey you. Obey everything else when it comes to your base and all.
Your house.
I gotta be resting on the Saturday. You need to. You don't rest on the week. 8. Work for the other 8. So you got up 8. Now that 8 get ready for work. They got to commute to work and back. So you doing 6 hours stuff. Fix that for yourself.
Yeah, see. That's why I say the book of instruction, you can't go wrong. I mean, it's everything there to keep you healthy, give you long life, to make you be at peace. Even when the world is falling apart, you can still be at peace and stuff. And people look at you like, man, I never see you angry, or I never see you mad, I never see you upset, or I never see you do this and this and that. Because it's a way that we can deal with certain stuff in life. That don't mean that you're not upset, but you don't have to bring it out to the point where, you know, where it's seen and you acting a fool and this and that. But it's a certain way that we're taught how to handle certain situations and stuff. And once you learn how to deal with those situations, then you're progressing. You're moving on. You're actually growing and stuff. But think about the trees and the plant that endure all kinds of environment that we go through, whether it be fire, snow, and stuff like that. You see, even in cold weather and snow has this, that certain trees stay green. They don't turn, they stay green and stuff. So I mean, I pay attention to all the stuff that Yahuwah have created. I just watch how it deals with stuff in life, the environment and stuff. You know, from the plants and the trees and the animals and stuff, and how they adapt to everything. You know, and then I looking like, wow. That's why I say you can learn a lot from everything and stuff. Just watching these things, even from the insects and stuff, even from watching, you know, the children themselves and stuff that they do. You be like, wow, look at this, what they doing, you know. And so I look at that, and with that alone, it helps I adapt my life to it as well and stuff. Because, you know, freezing weather, most plants and stuff die off, change color, they die until the spring come back. But yet you have some weather the storm and stay green and flourish and stuff. Then you'll see an area where it's dry, just that, but yet you still have green plants. Like, where they getting their water from, and this and that, you know, and stuff like that. So we see these conditions in life. So I look at those conditions with the environment deal with, and conditions that we as humans deal with, and say, okay, I know, you know, how to adapt to this, how to go through